Disclosure of aliens and zero-point energy. What does Joe Rogan have to say about all of this?
The whole idea is that they're just sort of normalizing it, right? Neurolinguistic programming, they call it, where you're slowly getting people accustomed to these ideas. Like the aspects of Close Encounters, for instance, where you have the radiation burns on the guy's face. You have a time travel component where these World War II soldiers get out of the craft with the little beans and the bigger bean. And I mean, just seeding our culture with those little bits of information.
What Michael is saying is that the US government is trying to get us more used to these UFOs/UAPs. So when they release actual evidence of aliens, we're not so surprised and afraid.
Might help later on down the road.
That was like in the 70s, wasn't it? Like, when was Close Encounters?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it the 70s?
Late 70s, early 80s, maybe.
Yeah.
Either way, I mean, like a lot of stuff he's done. Like I rewatched what was it? Jeff Bridges' Starman, I think. There's a lot of elements of disclosure in that too. Like, I think there's just, I don't know. I mean, obviously we don't know who's pulling the strings. We don't know what's going on. We don't know who's in charge. But it does make sense that if there is this thing that they know about, that we're supposed to know about, leak it out, do it slowly, get it in our culture, get it.
Have to agree with this one. Releasing the information slowly is the best way, especially releasing it through media or through movies in Hollywood.
In our media in different ways.
You know the Hal Puthoff story, right, with George Bush? Do you know the story where they were talking about, okay, Hal talked about it on my podcast, but he also talked about it in the Age of Disclosure documentary where they brought in him and a bunch of different prominent thinkers.
I watched that episode, and I watched the doco,
So
too.
to people that don't know, I'll just explain it. So they brought in him and a bunch of other prominent thinkers, and they sat them down and said, essentially, we have recovered crashed UFOs. We have biological remains of these creatures. We are considering releasing it to the public. And
Hal Puthoff is a physicist and engineer who was deeply involved in controversial government-funded research like remote viewing. He gained fame for his advocacy for fringe science, especially after appearances on shows like Joe Rogan.
We want to make an assessment of what are the pros and what are the cons. So we want to assign a numerical value that, you're estimating what kind of an impact it would be on government, finances, religion, etc.
About whether they should do it, basically.
Right, whether or not they should release this information. And all of the people that were brought in came to the agreement that there was more con than there were pro, and that formed their decision to not release it.
And didn't he say at first, like, he was pro-disclosure? He was like, of course we should do this. And then after the conversation, he switched teams and
I don't know about that. Maybe, perhaps.
I thought he said that he went into it thinking, well, yeah, obviously we should do this.
Yes, disclosing information that aliens exist would for sure impact a lot of aspects of life, especially religion.
And then sort of was convinced otherwise after the conversation unfolded.
Yeah, how could you be convinced? Like, whose decision should it be? If some people know, everyone should know.
Yeah,
it's a humanity decision. I don't think it should be
in
anybody's hands to decide whether or not this information gets distributed.
And the implications too, if they have zero-point energy, like how would that solve the problems that we face today? There's so many ramifications of it that.
0-point energy is the lowest possible energy a quantum system can have. A fundamental energy inherent in empty space and fields arising from quantum fluctuations, but currently not harnessable as a practical energy source because it represents the baseline.
Yeah, whose decision is it, and why has it been kept from us? I don't buy that whole like Orson Welles 1938 everybody freak out bullshit. I don't think that's the case, at least not anymore. There's got to be something more to it than that.
It would certainly have, I don't know if they factor this in, but a uniting element. Like, you remember the Reagan speech where he gave in front of the United Nations where he said, imagine how united we would be, we'd forget our differences if we were faced with an alien threat from another world. Mm-hmm. I mean, just knowing that we are all united. I mean, how old are you?
47.
Okay, so you remember September 11th.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that happened after September 11th was it was a horrible tragedy, but there was a beautiful result.
have to agree with Joe. 9/11 united America, and the enlistment rates in the army went through the roof.
Temporarily, where everybody was really united, like there's American flags in everybody's car in Los Angeles, like the most ridiculous, progressive, sort of kind of, kind of fucked up place. But everybody became patriotic. And in New York, everyone was friendly. I mean, people were smiling and saying hi to each other on the streets.
In New York, that sounds impossible.
We had all decided that we were together and that we were faced with a real threat and that we had to be united. And
I remember it well. Yeah, you're right. And then, not to get too weird too fast here, but if there are aspects of sort of an all-encompassing consciousness that unites us associated with the UFO phenomenon too, if we recognize that we are just fingerprints on the same hand, we're all iterations of the same overarching consciousness, if seemingly there is a part of that in the UFO phenomenon.
Yeah,
so
seemingly.
How would that unite us as well, even beyond the threat from outside? Like,
what if us humans and aliens are pretty much the same thing, just slightly different, made by one higher creator, and our consciousness are somehow connected?
If we did start to understand that we're all part of the same sort of cosmic community, sounds kind of weird to say that.
It does sound weird, but have you seen the Apple show Pluribus?
No, it comes up a lot. Worth watching?
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's very, very original, very unique. But that is essentially what happens, and it has a negative aspect to it.
Huh.
There's
How
a
so?
virus. I don't want to give away too much of it for
true.
people that want to watch the show because it's a really good show.
Spoiler alert.
But there's a virus that they get a signal from another world, and they figure out what this signal is, and through this lab work they reveal that this signal is some sort of the encoding of a specific virus. They work on this specific virus, it spreads, and the entire planet becomes one consciousness, except for a small number of people.
Interesting.
It's a weird show. It's a really good show.
That's
I
a cool
don't want
premise.
to explain any more of it like that without any spoiler alerts, but it's fucking great. But
Definitely could happen because aliens seem to have very advanced technologies like that. For example, how UAPs and UFOs can somehow travel through water at incredible speeds as if they were phasing through the matter, phasing through solid matter and just ignoring atoms altogether as if they were in some kind of a different dimension almost.
it's strange. It's like, wouldn't that be better? There's no crime, there's no this, there's no that, but and then it reveals all the problems that come along with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that as a counterpoint, if anything else, because it makes sense to me that if everyone's kind of united as one super organism of sorts, but
you lose all individuality.
Yeah.
You lose all the fun parts about being an imperfect person,
Right.
because we are an imperfect species, but that's also what makes great art. That's what makes great music.